about a wedding. Anybody have been to a wedding before? Have you been to a wedding? You know what it looks like? So there is usually you have the man, we call him the groom, and you have on his right side, so the man usually stands on this side, and the woman who is the bride, the groom and the bride, standing on this side. There is the priest and the deacons. And then what do you usually have on the sides of the man and the woman? Do you remember? What do you usually have there? If you had attended the wedding, you would be able to tell me if you remember, if your memory is good. Yes? Thank you. And candles. Usually are boys or girls that hold the candles?
The girls.
Boys.
No way.
You're going to break my heart. They're going to break the heart of all the boys. If you look at the images of weddings, it's usually girls. They usually have what we call bridesmaids. The bridesmaids hold the candles, the girls on both sides. So Jesus is telling us the story of those bridesmaids today. He's telling us a story about 10 of them. That would be a very huge wedding. It has to be a huge church. Then you're going to have 5 on each side of the bride and the groom, of the woman and the man that are getting married. 5 on this side and 5 on that side. You imagine how big that space would be? Huge. When the bride comes through the door, usually, where do you see the bridesmaids with their candles? Ahead of them or behind them? They always come ahead because they want to light the way. They are the entourage. They present the bride and the groom. So Jesus is saying there were 10 of them, 10 girls. But in those days, they didn't have this type of candle. They have the oil candle, like the one they have like little cups with oil and wicks, and they are lighting up their wicks to make light. Because in the old times, in the time of Jesus, there was no electric light. You wouldn't see chandeliers like this. There was no light hanging from the ceiling. People used to carry the light and put it on something high so it can light up. I lived in a time like this. I'm old. So I lived in a time in Upper Egypt when electricity would go out many hours every day. And we used to have kerosene burners. You put them on a high place. You fill them with oil and you light them up and they will give you light. Sometimes we used to bring it closer and read, if you want to read at night. But this is how we light up the place. So the 10 virgins were supposed to have 10 cups with oil, and they were walking in front of the bridegroom. But the groom, the man, was late. So they were staying in a room, maybe next to the church, and they were chatting. You know how girls like to talk when they are together, and boys too. They were chatting. They were talking non-stop. But I can imagine the wise girl saying, oh, wait a second, we have brought extra oil and we don't want to spend all the oil on our chats. This oil is not for us. It is for the bride and the groom when they come. If we spend all the time and spend all the oil right now, when the bride and the groom comes, we will have no oil. I can think of them turning off their light. And I'm thinking about the other 5 saying to them, why? Why you're keeping us in dark? Okay, and the wise would say, I just don't want to spend all the oil now. And we brought extra oil. And the other 5 who were not very wise said, well, we didn't think about it that much. It's not that important. You know, we didn't bring extra oil. And in addition, we need to use the light. We want to see each other. I want to see your face when I say this joke. See how you smile about it. I'm going to tease this one. I'm going to see how she gets angry. How can I see their faces and have fun if I don't have light? So after the time passed, it was like maybe midnight, which is like 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning. The groom came. And there was a shout in the church, girls, come up, make up your light. The husband and wife to be are here. So they suddenly realized they actually fell asleep, all of them. You know, after talking and talking and talking and talking, and then they don't want to leave, and then what happens? You get tired, and they sleep in their seats. So they looked at their light. Actually, the 5 that didn't care, their oil was finished. They didn't notice it. It was completely gone. There was no oil in their cups anymore because they didn't even take care of it to put it off. While the wise ones had oil in their cups and in the cups that they had brought, or to the extra oil that they got. So everybody woke up and said, okay, let's get ready. And they woke up trying to do, and the unwise ones were very fumbling through to find out how are we going to light up these candles. There's no oil in it. That's it. Done. So they stood at the door and they looked at each other and they told the wise one, can you give us a bit from yours? He said, sorry, that's barely enough to go through the wedding party. Barely enough. Why don't you go and find somebody to give you some oil, or go and buy some oil? So the 5, not wise, left the door of the church. But then the wise one came in, and the 5 came in, and the bride and the groom had their entourage with only 5 girls. And then the wedding is done. Then became the party. When the big party began, and the eating and the drinking, the foolish ones came back. We don't know if they found oil or not. I really can't tell you. I wasn't there. But they start knocking on the door. Nobody's listening. Why? Because everybody's busy and partying. There's loud music and people are laughing and having fun. And the wise ones are having fun too. And they keep knocking. Eventually, the groom, the person to be married, heard they're knocking. He went out, opened the door, and found them. He said, please open for us. He said, who are you? I don't know you. He said, we are the bridesmaids. So why we're not in the wedding? What happened? Oh, you don't belong here. Go, do something else. And that's it. And they shut the door again. That's very sad. How would you advise those 5 foolish virgins? What would you say to them? What would you say to them before it happens? After it happens, it's too late. It's too late. Yes?
You should have thought more about, like, is this going to be enough because you need more? So maybe this might not be enough, so we might need more.
You should have thought about it
Yeah.
ahead of time.
But
Right? So there is another story that looks like this. It's a very sad, heartbreaking story, by the way. But it breaks my heart every time I read it. Jesus wanted us to feel that sadness. There is another story, the story of us all. When we are actually invited to go to heaven and be with Jesus and his Father, and to be with St. Mary and all the saints. And we're spending all our energy here and our time on ourselves. Will you have fun now? You say, I want to have fun now. Why don't you go to bed a little early so that in the morning you have energy to be wakeful and offer God some prayer? No. I want to have fun till 2 o'clock in the morning, 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm going to just go on and on until I fall asleep. When I fall asleep, I fall asleep. I'm not going to bother about. So wake up in the morning, I don't want to go anywhere. You want to go to church? Let's go with Christ. No, I'm tired. I had too much fun last night. Okay, guess what? When we keep doing that, what happens at the end when Christ comes? What would he say to us if we had not given him anything? If we have not saved any energy for Jesus, we had not saved any oil for him, what would happen? Jesus will be angry. He said, we're going to knock on the door. Jesus, open. And what would he say? I don't know you. What is it? Why are you so late? And by the time he comes, you're trying to find some time to spend with Christ and to offer yourself in liturgy and to offer yourself in prayer. There will be no time, nothing. And then it's very harsh for us to hear, go away. Jesus would say that. Go away, I don't know you. Let me tell you something about this. When you pray, let me just give you practice. Prayer is the way to save oil. When you stand to pray, the mark, the oil, the good stuff that you're going to offer to God is your attention. That's what makes you a human. If you're not paying attention to every word you say, they are wasted words. If you're just mumbling, if you're just saying the words and you're not thinking about them, St. Paul says, offer yourself to God as a sacrifice. That's why I say in the morning, it is the hardest thing to do, but it's the mark of love for God, is that you wake up early and pray and put your mind to prayer. The church and everybody taught us the fear of God. What's the fear of God? When the girls put the scarf on their head when they pray, that's the fear of God. When you stand, all of us stand and erect and not move and not think about things, that's the fear of God. We offer ourselves to God. We offer our oil. Everything we do intentionally, with zeal and with energy, is your oil. Jesus knows you by how much attention, how much effort you put in worship. Let me say this again. Jesus knows you by how much attention, how much effort you put in your worship, in your prayer, in your singing hymns. Someone stands in the church and doesn't want to sing, and his just mind is all over the place, thinking about things that doesn't really matter. You think he's offering God anything? I don't think so. Someone who is not interested in standing, although he are very healthy, really little young, we don't want to stand because so tired, Abuna, I'm too tired. And sitting, is he offering God anything? No. When we don't want to do the hard things, we're becoming the foolish versions because they want to take it easy. They want to go the easy route. They want to go whatever pleases them. They don't think about serving God. Although they were intentionally given candles so they can serve in the wedding, they're actually using those candles to serve who? Themselves. Do you want to be like that? No. Don't serve yourself, especially when it's time to pray. That's why, I will tell you something, the hardest prayer is the morning one. That's your first prayer when you wake up in the morning and you're fighting sleep, but you have to be wise. Don't spend too much time at night, late hours. And when you wake in the morning, you just have nothing. You're fighting too hard. It becomes impossible. You're waking yourself with like dragging yourself and it's not working. If you're wise, say, let me save some oil for the morning. Let me save some energy for the morning. I sleep early. When I wake early, I'm ready. I'm not fighting too hard to pray. Because I need not only just to stand, I need also to do what? To focus. To offer God my service from my mind and my heart. I put my heart and energy. That's why when God saw Moses coming, approaching him, what did God say from the burning bush? What did Jesus say to Moses? Stop. The first thing he said to him, stop. What does it stop mean? This is not like any other place, right? Take off your sandals, for the place you're coming to is holy ground. So what it means to approach holy ground is to give us all attention. Taking off the sandals, it means pay attention. That's why I yelled at the deacons. I didn't yell. I was just rebuking that they go into the altar thinking it's like anything else. And I see deacon doing this. This is not really the fear of God. This doesn't do anything to serve or honor God. That we use the altar as a walkway. Even Mina does that sometimes, and I tell him not to do it. He's trying to appease me by kissing the altar, but it's not going to work. So the altar is a holy place. The church is a holy place. Your time in prayer in the morning is a holy time. We have holy places and we have holy times. That's how you are an Orthodox. Yes, God is everywhere, but we are not everywhere. God is at all times, but we are not at all times. You and I have to live in time. So we give certain time to God. We give certain place to God. To offer God service is I give him my full attention. I don't serve myself in that time. I serve him. My thoughts, my heart, my body, my energy, my time, everything you can give in those times, you have to give it. And as much as that is happening, Jesus will tell you, I know you. You will be very blessed and you'll be filled with God's Spirit. And you will become light as you are offering yourself to God. You become light to the world. Everybody will know, will feel there's something special about her or him. They are special. Yes, you are the bridesmaids. You are the best men for God. Best men and bridesmaids. These are the distinguished guests in the wedding. I hope and I pray that you get this and put it to heart, because that's how we become true godly people, true Orthodox godly people. And if you want to do that, you will find it very rewarding, very satisfying. To him is the glory, Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit, now and forever. Amen.